never spoken on a video before, but I figured this would be a good time to start. Here I am at this tiny cabin in upstate New York in the Adirondacks. I just drove down here today from Montreal. It was only about 2 hours, a really nice drive. And I'm here to try to practice my astrophotography because it's the first weekend in February and it's a new moon, which means that there's very little moon. So that should give me prime conditions to take some really nice photos of the stars. I don't know if you can hear that, but the sound of the traffic is pretty loud out on the road. This is not very set very far back. So it's a bit noisy, especially with my brand new microphone that I just put on this camera. I found this tiny cabin on Hip Camp, which is a really great resource for anybody looking for off the beaten path cabins and campsites. So far it looks pretty nice. It's just here in the forest. There's a clearing beside me that'll be nice for looking at the night sky later. But let's check it out inside and get set up. So here we are, nice and toasty inside the cabin. I can't believe I was able to find a cabin that's insulated and that has a little electric heater. So it's definitely a lot easier and a bit of a step up from somewhere that just has a wood stove, though I was kind of hoping for that. Let's take a look around. We've got bunk beds and 2 little chairs to sit on. And then over on this side, there's the little heater. And over here we've got a mini fridge, a TV, and a microwave. So let's get this place set up. Unpacking the sleeping bag is always the first step I take because you want it to get really floofy. All set. Not sure if this is going to work, but let's see if we can make it a bit more cozy in here. This is not the kind of thing I'd ever get for myself, but it was a Christmas present. Thanks, Kate. Festive. So, you probably can't see me at all or what I'm doing. I'm just making dinner. Dinner tonight is mushroom risotto. I have some leftover dehydrated risotto that I had made for a summer canoe trip, but I didn't end up eating it all. So I thought I would reuse a leftover dehydrated meal, even though you really don't need to bring dehydrated meals out in the winter because you can keep pretty much anything cold. I bought some fancy dehydrated mushrooms from Costco, so I thought I would give them a try to add into the risotto, and they just take forever to rehydrate, but I'll let you know how they taste. I'm frying up the mushrooms right now over the fire, and to rehydrate the risotto I just cover it in water. I put it on the fire till it boils, and once it's boiling I put it into this pot cozy, which I made out of material called Reflectix, which I highly recommend. And then I just leave it in here for 15 minutes and it keeps it warm enough to rehydrate. And then when it's done, I'll just put in the fried mushrooms and cheese, and then I'm ready to go. If anybody does canoe camping and you're rehydrating a lot of meals, I highly, highly, highly recommend a pot cozy. If you're using a camp stove, it saves you so much fuel because you don't have to keep your meal boiling for 10 or 15 minutes while it rehydrates. They take a little while to make, maybe an hour, but it's totally worth it, and this has paid off many times over. Yep. Okay. Morning, everyone. It was a cold one last night. I would say below -20, even without the wind chill. I do a lot of winter camping, and that's pretty cold even for me. So I'm really glad that I splurged on this little cabin. This heater kept me nice and toasty. So let's make some breakfast. Instead of starting a fire this morning, I'm just going to be lazy and use the microwave. So we're having instant coffee. Starbucks actually makes pretty good instant coffee. I highly recommend it. Along with instant oatmeal. I usually mix into my instant oatmeal a bit of shredded coconut and raisins or currants and a few different kinds of nuts just for some extra protein. Well, all right, I think that's it. It's been a lovely time out here in the forest. I highly encourage anyone who camps during the summer to start exploring the outdoors during the winter. It's a really lovely time to be out, especially because it's so much quieter and peaceful. I'm going to drive all the way back to Montreal now, so thanks so much for coming along on this trip with me, and I'll see you in the next one.